and 4 really was right at the zeitgeist of the moment, you know, and it sort of had this big wave of like 1. I don't mean to discount 2, but you know, 1 and 3 were really 5 solid.
5 went to video in like a week.
And like 3 was like the last one that, like, you know, until a while that like Wes Craven wrote, and I feel like that gave it a big groundswell, and then Nightmare 4 just put it over the top, you know.
Robert Englund calls it the MTV.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of the Nightmare on Elm Street series.
3 was really successful.
And the music is pretty awesome.
3 was awesome.
Hello. I was going to say. Yeah. I think that because each of the characters had some iconic saying, so that you could take home with. You know, each of us had something that was just like in quotes that people would just laugh at and remember themselves, remember the words and everything. I think that was also like a really incredible part of all of the nightmares. That we all had those like one saying that we all said, whether it was on the lay, or Kristen, get the hell away from that house. You know, so whatever it was.
On the lay.
Can you do it? Can you yell it?
Yeah.
Do it, Brooke, do it. On the lay.
You got one right here.
I was just wondering, like, the release of Nightmare 4, there's usually no deleted scenes or any outtakes. Is there stuff that you guys filmed or that just didn't make it? Yeah.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I was in one that wasn't in there. It was some weird thing where, I don't know, it had something to do with that beach scene that I did. But for some reason, they put this like prosthetics over my boobs, and I was gonna be like topless somehow. I have no idea why. And then suddenly, Rennie, this is all Rennie. Tuesday, take off your clothes. Let's get you naked. And then it just disappeared. It just disappeared. It never made it anywhere, thank God.
But they watch dailies over and over.
Yeah.
We gotta watch that one again. To make this shot work.
And it was a close set, just me and Randy.
I know you all think I had a thing with Rennie. I know.
It was terrible. I was sleeping with him.
I really? God, that was what was going on.
Oh my god. Oh, you know what? When you were talking about the movie, I'm sorry.
You know, right?
People say it's a fun movie though. Is that, I don't know, a lot of fans say, oh, it's a big movie, but it was fun. People had fun when they went through movies. We actually all went to it together, like twice, I think. And it was packed and it was really fun. People were screaming at the screen.
In Westwood. In Westwood, we all gathered at the screening at the opening night.
The first one,
The Nightmare 4, and we all went together and we kind of watched
Hung out
it.
the back.
It was packed. It was sold
We
out.
did that a couple of times. That was fun.
That was
That was fun. Meeting like newer, young actors.
You know, they were just
And we're like, people are laughing and they're scared too.
oh my gosh, it was really cool.
At the time, I actually remember Married to the Mob was #1 for like some ungodly amount of weeks, right? And then it was like Nightmare on Elm Street 4 knocked them out. And we were there for like 18 weeks. I was like, what? And I was a kid. I was like 18 going, are you serious?
I cut the
People
New York
really want
Times
to watch
off.
this? This is great. Like, and that was, I think, my first induction to like what
Yeah.
the horror movie, what Nightmare.
And my agent is cutting out all the clippings in the newspaper.
And
my
of course,
manager.
Andros, your favorite part, what was the favorite part of yours? It was, of course, the title song, right? Mine, right?
Oh yeah.
That was your favorite.
Make sure you get that quote right. Andros Jones says the best thing about it was Tuesday's song.
Fun fact, not only was this the most successful Nightmare on Elm Street film, this was, at its time, the most successful independent film ever made in history.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ever. Knocked off by Sex, Lies, and Videotape.
I thought it was knocked off by Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
What?
Sex, Lies, and Videotape.
Who cares? Nightmare on Elm Street was really awesome.
It was the most successful independent film ever.
I just think, I like to say that between us and those Mutant Ninja Turtles, we built a new line and gave you Lord of the Rings.
was gonna say my favorite part about Nightmare on Elm Street 4 is the residual checks.
No, yes.
Wait a minute, I don't know about this.
Well, 3 and 4
watching,
combined, it kind of helps.
Oh, that's cool, are they still coming now?
Bits and pieces.
Sometimes, yeah.
Wow.
Around Christmas time.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Let's
Fingers
let's talk about
crossed.
something that they're interested in. You have
Okay.
any more
Let's
questions?
get on course here.
Right on. Back there, you have a question.
This is for Tuesday. What was it like singing the title track?
There you go.
It was funny. It was great. It was just a fluke. Rennie was looking for a song. They were looking for a song, and the producer Rachel. And I said, give me a chance. I want to see if I can give you a song that'll be somewhere in the movie. Blah blah blah. And then I did it. My writing partner, and I got together for one day. We only had one day in the studio, so we just wrote it out and did it, recorded it, and then we brought it back. And Randy was like, "Oh my Tuesday!" Opened the doors in my car. And it was blasting on the street. It was like in front of New Line. I'm like, "Oh, my Rachel, come here!" And oh, this is wonderful. So I was thinking, "Oh yeah, right, okay, all right." And he's like, "I want to find something in the movie. I want to find something, somewhere to put it." So he never told me anything. And then so when I went to see the movie for the first time, and I saw it come up there with that New Line, that New Line logo, and it started the song, I was like,
That's cool.
why don't I get more money? Wow. Yeah, it was really awesome. Really
You
awesome.
had a question.
Yeah, this question is for Rodney. How does it feel that, getting really close in the third movie to, having that dream work out, and then you get a chance again in the fourth movie, and Freddie just never lets you get the girl?
Yeah.
Poor me.
He gets
God,
them now.
I mean, I can answer that
He
so
gets
many
it now, yeah, that's true.
different ways. I don't know. It was nothing like. It was exactly like my real life at the time. I was just as innocent as I looked then. Just like now.
You mean you're as innocent as you look now?
Exactly. Those scenes were pretty amazing. I was a kid, and they were super fun, and I think kind of like the only nudity in the franchise, which is kind of amazing, that I always met my doom at the hands of a naked, beautiful woman. Like, that has never happened in real life. One time ever. But it was fun, and back in the day, you can find the clip somewhere on YouTube or something. But Siskel and Ebert did a whole show on films they thought should be X-rated. And Ebert was especially fanatical about Nightmare on Elm Street 3 because of the scene with the nurse, and he just thought it was the most disgusting thing, and it should have had an X rating, and he just railed it, and it was of course that's the only time I've ever had anything reviewed on any contacts on Siskel and Ebert, but at least I made it.
You made it.
I did.
What?
Maybe that's what happened to the boob scene. Right, we took it out.
The boob scene, yeah.
But they kept my boob scene in. I guess only one boob scene in a movie.
Too many boobs.
Too many boobs.
Never been
And I
said in
think,
Hollywood.
and I think
Never been
also,
said in Hollywood.
I think also that was a direct, sort of not too deeply disguised sort of literary device because my character was so baby-faced and innocent that of course his downfall was the secret dark fantasies that we have, just so. I feel that's another reason why these films are so successful because, just like you said, every character has its own saying, and those sayings work so well because they're so specific to type, and every character in these Nightmare movies is, if you watch them, they're very fairy tale like. Every character represents a real sort of archetype and a real sort of like the innocent guy, the jock, but like and really well defined, right? That everyone's like, and especially teenagers love horror movies, and everyone's got like the mom they hate, and you know, so perfect.
Like the juxtaposition of, like you're talking about, you're the innocent guy, but you're the one who wants the naked woman off the poster, you know, and you're the jock, and you end up with the nerdy Alice. That's an interesting one, right? And
but the nerdy Alice turns into a butterfly.
well, she
Hot
turned into a little
butterfly.
I don't know. The juxtaposition is interesting.
More like a wasp.
All right, I know I'm waspy, but really.
I saw another.
Here we go. You already asked, what do you have over there?
This question is for Brooke. How many cans of hairspray did that take? And is that hairdo the reason we have emissions problems? And it was pretty built up.
I like to say that my 80s hair was even too big for the 80s. The first day of shooting, like you say, we shot a lot of stuff on the first day. And then they look at the dailies, and the dailies came back like, Brooke's hair is too big.
It was a wig, though.
It was a wig.
Yeah.
But so you'll see the rest, a lot of the scenes, my hair's like kind of pulled back like this.
Right.
With little wispies. I tried to calm it down. So yeah, so it was a wig.
It was a beast.
It was a beast. It was like, it had its own zip code.
It was kind of toned down for the 80s, though. People were walking on the shoulder pads.
It was too big for
I know, right?
Over there, right? What? Okay, you first. Oh, go ahead.
So, going into filming these movies, were you guys prepared at all for the amount of like special effects and prosthetics that had to be applied, or?
Not really.
No.
Not really.
No idea.
No,
Yeah.
not really.
I know it's funny. I was warned, because people kind of go cuckoo.
Yeah.
When they, it's almost like being in an MRI. You got to be absolutely still. And what they were doing in the
And
beginning.
you can't see or breathe.
You can't see. You can't breathe. It's just.
Well,
It's
straws out of your
you
nose.
gotta-
Out of your mouth. You got a straw from In-N-Out Burger.
They realized that doing that to an actor or actress or anybody for that matter, they can go kind of a little nutty. So what they realized they have to do is to provide some sort of sound. So they kept talking to me.
Are you kidding, Brooke? No one talked to me, and I thought I was going to die. And they didn't warn me, and they're like, hey, today you're gonna go get this bodysuit, we're gonna stick stuff in your mouth, and we're gonna cover you with cement, and it's gonna dry, and you're gonna breathe through straws. And I was like, wait a second, and I moved. They're like, don't move at all for 15 minutes. And I thought in my mind, I'm gonna die. They don't care as long as I get this cast. And it freaked me out, because everything started to constrict and then peel away, and I was like, and I started hyperventilating. Like, it was the worst experience for me, and I was just like, just get the cast, just be a good actress and get the cast, meditate. But I was scared, I had no idea that's what I was walking into.
And not only that, like
Nothing, it was black.
I made them cut out my eyes.
Oh, the worst
I
part.
made them cut them out.
Wait, here's the worst part. They took a saw to cut up the back of my head, and they don't warn me, and all I hear is bing, bing, and they're like bend over toy, and I feel it coming on my back, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna die, I'm really gonna die for this movie. And I was 18, my mom's like, don't worry. I'm like, she's gonna let them kill me.
But the special effects on set are brutal too. The hours and hours. In 3 I spent like 11 hours in the chest thing, which says "Come and get her, come and get him, bitch." And then in 4 under the waterbed, and it's torture. And they only warn the adults because, and that's why that's why they have teenagers in all these movies, because they can abuse you for hours and they know you can stand up to it. The days before CGI, it was brutal.
It would have been the good boy. I'm gonna be the good boy. I'm the good girl.
Really?
Whatever you want. I'll please you. I'll please you. Right?
Then they're like, we're gonna paint your face with latex and then let it shrivel all day, and then we're gonna do more progressively and letting it work for like 15 hours. I was just like, wait, is this right? Like, can we do this by law?
Yeah.
Like, just be quiet. I'm like, okay.
The scene, I have a scene in 5 that I had to do a cast multiple times. I got good at it. 'Cause I did it so much. I was like, all right, cool, and stick the thing in there. And they pour it over you, and then you like wiggle your face around it, and it comes off. But I'm sorry, I'm trying to think what neighborhood we were in.
I'm sure it was a bad one.
Yeah,
No, I'm kidding.
you have to wear. You go in and your call time is like okay, 8 o'clock. But that's when you get makeup, and then you have to wait till it to be dark to film. So your day. I mean, it's not like you're
They're like
chopping
18-hour
wood all
days.
day, but it's like okay, you put this thing on. Then it's like freezing at night a lot of times. It doesn't look cold, but you gotta act like it's. And then the blood will be stuck, so it's like you're wet. And so it can be a long day of wearing like stuff that like
I think Rodney had
Oh, and then
that's
we
why
had
an
a
18-year-old
scene where I had to be Freddy, and back then, I don't know if they still do it, I don't know, but back then, I'm in the cab of this burning truck, and they're like, okay, we got all this rubber cement placed in all these strategic spots, and they're like, on action, these 3 guys run out and light them all on fire and then run back, and so it didn't burn. If you guys want to test, go home and take rubber cement and throw a flame on it. You can put it on the walls, anyway, yeah, so.
I'm gonna just break it up real quick. We only have a couple of minutes left. I know we only have enough time for 1 or 2 questions. I know a gentleman over here had a question for like the longest time.
Yeah, I got a question for Lisa.
Yeah.
You talked a little bit about deleted scenes earlier. I know there's a photo that's in the Nightmare on Elm Street book of Alice's dad with the decapitation like through the wall, like that the head's being held.
There was another decapitation?
Like,
I know.
I was wondering if you knew anything about that. It's in the Nightmare on Elm Street book.
The new book?
I think it's part 5 where they kill him in 5, they deleted it.
Nightmare Never Ends book. But yeah, it's a full page of like your dad's head through the wall.
Wow.
And I was wondering if you knew anything about that, or if you remember filming that, or what was.
I don't know, but all I can imagine is if that was put in. Remember the scene when I'm daydreaming and I throw the bowl in front of his face and I say, you can just keep drinking your life away, and blah, 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 blah. And then I take a machete out and then cut his head off and then throw it through into the wall. That's all I could think where the justification could come for that kind of scene. But I don't know about that.
Yeah, because Freddy wouldn't kill that guy to make one of us feel bad.
Well, I know
because
on the Never Sleep Again
we wanted him
documentary,
We wanted him
there was
out.
like talk about
We could have taken care of each other just fine.
We didn't.
Yeah,
What
no,
did you
I know.
say?
Well, I know on the Never Sleep Again documentary, you said that there was like stuff that was like shot that was like purposely more than R-rated, so you could cut it back. So I didn't know if maybe that was one of the things that was added, so it could purposely be cut out.
Don't know about the cut-off head of Dad. I don't know the cut-off head. That sounds like a new movie, the cut-off head of Dad. That'd be good. I know, so sorry, I have no answer for you, but I'm going to inquire.
Speaking of like parent cut-off heads, Brooke Bunny, you died in 3 pretty much. So when you got the script for 4, were you like, oh man, this one's all right?
I was so confused. Maybe I missed something here, but when I went on the set the first day when I was doing 4, I had a scene with Freddie, and I went over to him and I said, Robert, I don't understand this. This is like, I mean, you and the other movie. And he just looked at me and said, Brooke, shut up, okay?
There's the explanation.
Don't remind anybody.
Don't bring it to anybody's attention.
You're like the George Costanza of horror. Showing up and go, oh, okay.
One more? Anybody?
2 more.
2 more?
2 more.
All right.
This is for Lisa. I was just wondering how difficult it was to shoot the scene in the theater, because that's one of my favorite scenes in the film. I was just wondering if it was really difficult or not so much.
No, it was really easy. It was because I had fabulous stunt doubles who were Olympiads. Oh my gosh! But no, it was really cool because we actually did film the exterior at the Rialto in Pasadena, and it was a night shoot, and it was so beautiful because we're walking around, we have like the whole town to ourselves, you know, and we're just wandering around, and Freddie's putting in his prison movie poster into the things. And then inside the theater, what they did, because, you know, the wind starts going, it was filmed in different ways, because, you know, I'm sitting there watching the movie, eating popcorn, and I have my Pepsi. Well, what they did is they created a stage initially, this is out of Rialto, that turned like this and tilted, so that the Coke and the popcorn flew out that way. Okay, so the actor's strapped in, stunt double, is strapped in like this, and everything's falling out that way. So it wasn't due to the wind that way. But then actually in the theater, with its knee, they had this like, I don't know, a trolley thing, like a gurney. And I'm like laying on my stomach, right, holding on to the railing, like this, and the wind's blowing. They've got the Gardner wind going on, I don't know, 2 G's going against my head, so I can lift you. And I'm holding on, and then the gurney rolls back, and I let go, and the gurney's on wheels, and I roll back, and it looks like I've let go of the railing, and then I'm flying into the ceiling of the theater, and that's where Olympia Susan started, yeah. And how they actually do like that going flying into the screen.
Cool. That was cool.
Don't know, still amazing. But it looks really good and authentic, right? I mean, back in 1988.
It's magic.
Back in 1942.
Hey, where's that true stick? Grandma. So yeah, it's a beautiful scene. And the shoe falls off, right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Missing shoe.
It goes in there first.
Great script, great script.
Yep.
Tuesday, what was it like having to take over for Patricia Arquette? How did you feel having to be in, you know, as an established character that you didn't establish?
Well, I mean, it was a little bit strange. I mean, I mean, it was great. I really, you know, I watched her, and I really, you know, Rennie wanted me to watch her and kind of get her sort of, you know, vibe and her thing going on. And I watched it, and I did. I tried to get some of it, but then I figured that, you know, I'm going to do this part, and I'm going to just do what I want to do. I'm going to do it the best I can and try to keep her essence, but I felt that mine was maybe a little bit more edgy. And I just came out that way. You know, I just kind of, I didn't want to like base it on her because she's original and she did it her way, which was great. And I actually saw her at the video store after I did it, and she came up to me and she goes, "Kudos to you, you're the better Kristen." So I was like, oh my God, this woman. I said, no, you are. She goes, no, you are. It was great. It was awesome.
And also, I mean, at the time, I mean, I don't think Patricia Arquette has gone on to be pretty darn famous. But at the time, she was not. It wasn't like you were stepping into playing the role that was played by an actress who was beloved by everyone the way she is now. You know, and rightfully so.
But you know, so I really didn't think anything. I mean, really, you know,
it's
I
just
mean, you were
taking over for another actress.
Just another actress.
Right.
Right.
But for an actor who, you know, who was in part 3, who worked with Patricia Arquette, we give kudos to Tuesday because it was going to be difficult because Rodney and I was used to playing with Patricia Arquette, and we was wondering what it was going to be like. And
they hated me at first, and I'm really upset.
I'm trying to give her some props here. Shit, I've been quiet over here.
And he's the funniest one.
He's the